Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Studio here in Lytham, and in association with GolfWRX, I'm going to be doing a head-to-head-to-head. We've got the three Callaway drivers. We've got the Callaway XR16 here, we've got the Callaway XR16 Pro, and we've got the Callaway XR16 Sub-Zero. I'm going to be hitting 10 premium golf balls with each of these golf clubs to see how they perform on GC2. Using the HMT as well so we can measure strike location. I'm going to use the same shaft, which is the Speeder 665X Evolution 2 X Flex. I'm using that in the same head, all the same heads, in 9.5 degrees of loft. So going to be an interesting comparison here. The only things worth noting is what should tweak and change. We've got different head sizes with the three different drivers and different weight positionings, where the centre of gravity is. The XR16 is designed for the most forgiveness, so there is the weight all the way to the back. It's the biggest head at a 460cc. It's got the bowing influence on top, so the speed humps on top to help the airflow go across the face. That's the XR16. Moving into the XR16 Pro, it's a 450cc head, so 10cc smaller. It's still got the speed humps on the front, or the bowing influence on the top with the aerodynamics, but not as strong. There is a weight port in the back of the head, but with it being slightly smaller and the weight slightly further forward, it should be less spinning. Let's see. Then, moving into the final one of these three, which is a very limited edition driver. They've not made many of these, but for a number of different reasons. Because ideally it spins too low. It's their lowest and most forward CG ever, Callaway have said. There's two weight ports, there's a 10 gram and a 2 gram. I've put the 10 gram all the way to the front and the 2 at the back to put it in its lowest physical setting. It's only a 440cc head, this, and there's no airflow humps across the top, and it's a gloss finish instead of a matte finish compared to the XR16s. Apparently there's no speed humps because with it being a 440cc head, it doesn't need them because it's a smaller head. I'm going to hit 10 shots with each. We'll get it on GC2. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'll show you little clips of each one, and then we'll have a look and see what the numbers say. Be very interesting to see if club head speed changes and if spin rate changes, and overall if distance actually changes. Stay tuned, and we'll get cracking. Right guys, so that's 10 done with all of the drivers. What I did, I alternated as much as I could. So I hit 3 with each and then swapped over. So I wasn't getting too used to one of the drivers at any one point. Right, very interesting results. Let's have a look through them. Quick recap again. We've got the XR16 Sub-Zero 440cc head. The Pro in a 450cc head with the speed humps, and then the 460cc head in the XR16 standard. Let's have a look at distances first, just out of interest. Now, this wasn't a long drive tournament. I was hitting these just at normal speed, at normal pace. The Sub-Zero was the longest, carrying at 283 for a total of 303. The XR16 Pro was in second place at a carry distance of 281, so just a little bit behind the Sub-Zero, and at a total distance at 298. And then the XR16 was at 270 carry distance for a total distance of 287. Quite a drop off there for the XR16, but that's not the one that is supposed to suit me. It's the biggest head, it's the one that's supposed to be most forgiving and potentially spin up a little bit too high. Then if we look at other factors in this, let's look at spin rate, because that's really what this is going to change, and then we'll have a look at club head speeds as well. Spin rates have done what they said they should have done. The highest spinning of the three drivers was the XR16 at 2,817 on average. That's the average of the 10. All these numbers are averages. The XR16 Pro came down by 100 RPM of that and spun at 2,711 on average. Then we had another big drop off to the Sub-Zero, averaging at a spin rate of 2,315. Bearing in mind that's with the weight forward. The 10 gram weight was in the front. So it was the least spinning. It went in order of least spinning. And that's why I managed to get the most distance out of this one. Because of my club head speed, I can sacrifice losing spin. I can drop spin. That's not an issue. Ball speed was quite interesting. The fastest ball speed, weirdly, was with the XR16 Pro. It was very, very fast. Let's have a look at some club head data. What you can also see here is the ball flight line. The red line from the Sub-Zero was definitely the lowest flight driver, even though all was in the same degrees. And actually, weirdly, I actually hit the XR16 Sub-Zero the straightest on average, which was very interesting. Let's have a look at some club head data. So, miles per hour, club head speed. Sub-Zero was fastest at 114.8. It's the smallest of the head of the three. So really, the one that has effectively the least amount of drag, therefore should be able to swing it the fastest. It managed to beat the XR16 Pro by a 1.3 miles per hour. For whatever reason, I was just absolutely striking the XR16 Pro brilliantly. I was getting the fastest ball speed, the best efficiency of all the 10 golf shots. The XR16 Pro, which is this one here. Then the club head speed dropped from the XR16 Pro to the XR16 because, again, the size of the head. But it shows that the Sub-Zero, without the bowing influence, still generates huge amount of speed, and that's why apparently they didn't put the bowing influence on the top of the head, the airflow across the top of the head. What you can also see across the numbers here, that the dynamic loft was identical. The dynamic lie was a little bit different with the XR16 for whatever reason, but not by a huge amount. Face angle was very similar. Path was very similar. Angle of attack was very similar. You can see across the top there as well, strike location between the three was almost identical. You know, that was a really good test to see. Over 10 shots with each, over swinging it almost identical on average across the shots. The difference in club head speed, the difference in spin rates, therefore the difference in distance. That centre of gravity moving forward does change the dial. It does move something compared to its other drivers. And the fact that this hasn't got the airflow across the face or the bowing, I keep calling them speed humps, but I'm not sure if that's the technical term, across the top of the crown, I still managed to pick up a lot of club head speed. Very interesting test that. You've got to bear in mind that those spin rates, when they come lower, are only suited to fast swing speeds. That's why the XR Sub-Zero has come out, because if you can swing it fast and spin it low, you can afford to have a slightly smaller head, because you're typically probably a better player. If you go for a slightly smaller head, you're typically a better player. The XR Pro sits somewhere in between, and then the XR16 is just a standard, big, massive head, biggest head, highest spin, which will probably suit most golfers. Most golfers will probably suit the XR16. Moving into middle handicap to low handicap will go into the Pro, and then only the cut of the top of that goes into the Sub-Zero. Really, honestly, because as much as I've hit them straight, technically with its smaller head, it shouldn't be as accurate. It shouldn't be. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video in association with GolfWRX. I love these head-to-head videos because it really shows the differences between the drivers. I try and stick to the same shaft as much as I can. I try and get all the numbers exactly the same when I'm hitting it. Same day, same testing, to show you guys what the best results are with these drivers and how they can actually change, how they actually make an influence, and how they actually do change the dial, but by how much? Sometimes the advertisers will tell you much more. Guys, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you've not already by clicking this big button. Comment below what do you think about the XR range, what do you think about driver, spin rate, and all that anyway. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.